In this tutorial, we're going to go over how to create a blueprint for the Titan 3M. We're going to be referencing off of the 3 sheets from the Titans of CNC Academy that make up the Titan 3M. However, we are going to recreate our blueprint and we're going to make it into a single sheet. So let's take a look at the Titans of CNC blueprint first. That way we can know what we're looking for. Sheet number 1 is asking for the overall diameter of the primitive of the part, and it's also stating the thickness of it. Sheet number 2 is indicating that we have some tapped holes on a bolt hole circle. And sheet 3 is indicating that we have a circular pocket and then also this O-ring groove on here. So let's jump over to Fusion 360 and recreate these drawings. Very first thing in Fusion 360 is you need to make sure that you have the part not only already created, but you also need to make sure that that part is saved. We're going to make our way up to the toolbar and we're going to change our workspace into the drawing workspace from design. In our pop-up window, it's asking for, do you want everything in your modeling workspace to be a part of this drawing? Yes. If you had multiple components here and you only wanted a few components out of that workspace, you can uncheck this and then actually click on individual components. Next thing, it's asking, do you want to create a new drawing? Yes. And then lastly, it's asking for our template. Well, we're going to be using our template that we created in a previous video to make this part. Afterwards, press OK. Very first thing that we're going to change here is we're going to look at our annotation settings. In Fusion 360, it has some kind of defaults in there. And we're going to change our annotation settings to match the blueprint that we're replicating. According to the Titans of CNC Academy, is all of these measurements are stated to 1/1000th of an inch. So we're going to go down to the bottom center where it says annotation settings. We're going to click on that. And we're going to first turn on display trailing zeros. And then we're also going to change our linear dimension precision to the thousandths column. So 1, 2, 3. Now we're ready to land our base view. We're going to go up to drawing views here and down to base view. Our base view on this particular part is actually going to be the top of the part. So where it says appearance, and down to orientation, we're going to click on that and go to top. We're going to change our style to just visible edges. And because this part is kind of on the small side, it's less than 2 inches in diameter, we're going to change our scale to a 2:1. I'm going to land my base view kind of in the upper left-hand corner like this, and then press OK. Underneath our base view, we're actually going to create a section view. This will give us kind of a cutaway of what the part in the pocket dimensions are going to look like. We're going to go up to drawing views, down to section view. We're going to click on our parent view, our top view here. For our section view, we're going to hover our mouse over the center location and drag our mouse over. Notice there's no clicks yet. We're going to left click here, drag our mouse to the other side and left click again, and then press enter on the keyboard. As soon as we press enter on the keyboard, we're going to drag our mouse down. Fusion 360 is following the rules of third angle projection, and by dragging our mouse down, this will actually give us a front view. We're going to land our front view here and then press OK. In addition to having our front view, we're actually going to put an isometric view in over here. We're going to go back to drawing views and this time down to projected view. We're going to click on our parent view here, drag our mouse over to the right and slightly down, and that will give us a projected view of what the part is going to look like. Notice by moving our mouse up to the top, it will also give us an isometric view. And you can go and do the same on all these different sides over here. Just depends on what you're actually looking for. This particular one, we're going to land right over here and then press enter. Notice that my isometric view is kind of over the top of my title block. That's okay. We're going to click on it and then we're going to drag that up and get it up out of the way. In addition to dragging it up, I'm going to change it from a wireframe into a shaded part by changing our style appearance and then closing this out. Now that we have all of our views landed, we're going to add in some dimensions. Let's start with an easy one first. We're going to look at our front view here. We're going to go up to dimensions and down to ordinate dimension. We're going to click on the very top of our part here and land at our datum location. After we land our datum location in, we're going to click on the bottom of our O-ring groove and we're going to reference off the original measurement here. Notice the green dashed lines that will allow us to get all of our extension lines in the same location. Then to the bottom of our pocket, same thing as I'm referencing off our previous dimension so I can get all my extension lines in the same location, and then the bottom of the part. I want to change my datum here just to read 0. I'm going to double click on it and I'm going to change the primary precision to just read 0 and then close that out. In addition to having our depths of our part listed, we're going to give some clarification on the width of our O-ring groove. We're going to go D on the keyboard and we're going to go from one side of the groove to the other side of the groove and drag up some extension lines just like that. Our front view is all done here. Now we're going to take a look at the top view. Very first thing that we're going to do on our top view is I want to put in some geometry, and I'm also going to mark the location of our holes. Our geometry that we're going to put in here is our bolt hole circle. We're going to go to geometry and then go to center mark pattern. By hovering over our holes here, you can see that it's going to mark the center location of our holes, and it's also going to give us a bolt hole circle there. I'm going to click on that and then press OK. Notice that all of our bolt holes have that center mark now, and now we can reference off of them. We're going to go down to dimensions, either D on the keyboard or drop down from our toolbar. We're going to click on the outside of our part and land in our dimension. Next thing that we're going to do is we're going to click on our bolt hole circle and land our dimension. We're going to click on the innermost line here that makes up our O-ring groove. Make sure that you're clicking on the inner line and not the outer line. The outer line is actually where our chamfer is at. And drag our dimension out. Same thing, we're going to go into the other side of the O-ring groove. Be mindful of those other lines and drag our dimension out. And then lastly, the innermost portion of our pocket and drag our measurement out. Notice all of our measurements are kind of jumbled up. I'm going to right click and press OK. Now I'm going to reorganize some of my dimensions here. I'm going to drag them up and just make them look a little bit better here. So at any point you can actually drag these things around and kind of reorganize your workspace as you see fit. That's looking pretty good. Now that we have our dimensions stated for this, we're going to add in some dimensions for our bolt holes. I'm going to zoom down here. Very first dimension that I'm going to add in is the actual bolt hole itself. I'm going to go to text with the leader line, and I'm going to reference the innermost circle here, which represents my tapped hole. I'm going to click on it, and then I'm going to type in my quantity of how many holes there are. Well, there are 6 holes, so 6x. They are all 10-32, unified fine, class 2B threads. I'm going to press enter to give me a return. They all have a 375 thousandths depth, and that depth is minimum. So we're going to go over to our symbols and go down to the depth symbol. I'm going to hit enter again, and then back to symbols. And this is just clarifying that all of these holes are going to reside on that 1 inch 626 thousandths bolt hole circle. So I'm going to type in the diameter symbol, 1 inch 626 BHC for bolt hole circle. And then we're going to close out this window. Next thing that we're going to do is we're going to also, while we're at this hole location, we're going to add a dimension of our chamfer, so D on the keyboard. We're going to click on the outermost portion of that circle that represents our chamfer, and we're going to land that location. Right click, press OK. And I'm going to add some clarifications on this. I'm going to double click on it. I'm going to go in front of that bracket there and type in 6x for our quantity. And at the very end, I'm actually going to add in chamfer. And then I'm going to close this window out. Other than that, this blueprint is pretty much done. This was actually a fairly easy blueprint. What we are going to do before we finish this print up is we're going to take a look at our title block. We're going to update our material on this. So I'm going to double left click on the title block lines. I'm going to click in the blue attribute here where it says material, and I'm going to type in my material of 6061 T6 aluminum. I'm going to move over to our revision here and type in revision A, and then I'm going to close this out. Make sure to save your title block, and this concludes the tutorial on how to make the blueprint for the Titan 3M.